And we're live. What's going on, guys? I think we're live. Yep. Long time no see. I guess it's been probably over a month. Had a lot going on, and unfortunately, let me know if the audio and everything's good, guys. Unfortunately, I think there was a mix-up with the scheduling, so it's just going to be a Q&A now. So no interview. Maybe we'll reschedule that. Pretty interesting story, though. Adam, who is in a wheelchair and he's using keto to lose 50 pounds. He's also starting a keto food brand, which is pretty sweet. And we have a video that went live earlier today, just like a day of eating. And we've been making a lot of updates and changes to the website. KetoConnect.net is the website, which I will try to share with you here. Let's see. Yeah. So tons of new recipes. So this recipe just went live today. Crispy mushroom chips. Sounds a lot worse than it is. It actually surprised me a lot. Really good recipe. And the thing we've been adding to the most, we're having more and more holiday recipes, pumpkin stuff, the fast food guides. So these are like, we got tons of them now. Virtually every place you could imagine going to, we have a guide for it. Basically like 40 or 50 of them. So what's going on with you guys? Let's see. Some chat was going on before the live kicked off. I'm so stoked for this. Hopefully you're still stoked for the Q&A and it wasn't just the interview. I gained a lot of weight back during the pandemic. I work as a first responder, and because of the overwhelming calls, I repelled and fast food and gained 50 pounds back. Yeah, I think a lot of people struggled in 2020 and for the past year, and now we're headed into the holidays. So hopefully, New Year's is usually when people really get back into it, but I think if you decide now to start making some gradual changes, maybe be a little bit healthier over the holidays, could be a good idea. I feel so disappointed in myself, but after watching Keto Connect, I feel motivated again. Thank you. Glad we're motivating. Yeah, I use YouTube a lot, not our own videos, but other people's videos, mainly like, who's my go-to? Jim Rohn is probably my go-to for motivation. Really motivational guy. Been fasting to deplete all of the glucose out of my body. And this is all from the same person, Iris. Yeah, I'm not super big on like fasting as like a reactionary move because you've been bad on your diet lately. I think kind of being more measured with things and like making gradual steps in the right direction could be better. But whatever works for you, if you find that it's working. What do you think about Greg Doucet's cookbook and diet? Yeah, I know Greg Doucet is like really a popular YouTube guy. I've watched like maybe 2 of his videos, and he's very likable and charismatic, and like, because I think I clicked on his videos and it was like, it seemed like he was really going to attack another person, which probably says a lot about me. I'm clicking on like the attack videos, but he actually takes like some measured attacks, but then he's very positive on the whole. But I don't really know much about his diet. Is it just standard bodybuilder, like calories in, calories out type of stuff, or I would have to find Greg Doucet diet. I don't know. I need more details on what his diet's about. I don't know anything about his cookbook, anything like that. And I think he's pretty open, right? He says he takes steroids. I think that's his thing. I could be wrong. Let me know. What else do you guys got? Just watched your video. Thank you. That was a fun one. Where is Mega? She is at home with the kids. I am at the office. We have an office now, so I go in 5 days a week. She stays home. I think she's going to start coming in once Felix is like maybe a year old, so not for a while. For me, it works because I'm diabetic and can therefore never go off my low-carb diet. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a Pandora's box type of a thing. Even if you don't have diabetes or like a real health reason for doing a healthier diet or a keto diet. Once you know, like, you know, what's in your food, as you gradually learn more and more about nutrition, it's hard to just not care and just like eat Oreos, you know? Hey there, been watching since the beginning and you really helped me out on my keto journey. Since the beginning? When people say since the beginning, how far back are they going? Because I don't think you were one of like the first 100, were you? I finally got a notification of Keto Connect. Yeah, the YouTube notifications are a little sporadic. I get a lot of notifications from channels I rarely watch. Do you watch Dr. Berg? Do you like his information about keto? Yeah, he has really good information. I don't like watch every single one of his videos. It's usually when I'm searching about a topic, I'll come across one of his videos. But yeah, he's got tons of good info. We actually went to his conference in, was it in Virginia, I think? He had like a keto conference and he spoke at. We met him and stuff. Really nice guy. That's me. Gained in 2020. Restarted in Jan and down 55 pounds. Been vlogging my progress on my channel. Oh, really? Let's check this channel out. Jo re mi fa sol la keto. That's a really good channel name. Because when I was a little baby, my grandma used to sing that song to me all the time. Jo re mi fa sol la keto. Yeah, vlogging your progress seems like you're being pretty consistent. A video a week. Awesome. Yeah, check out Joe Ray's channel, guys. Love y'all's channel. Y'all seem like such good parents and really genuine. Y'all have helped me a lot. Currently doing carnivore and love it. That's good. We appreciate it. I guess you learn a lot along the way with being parents. Everyone has really strong opinions about parenting, so it's kind of tough. The main comments we get is like Theo shouldn't be at the oven or like on the counters. Love y'all's channel. Y'all seem like, oh, you just read that one. Started keto again 2 weeks ago and have lost 10 pounds. My husband and I love watching you guys. That's great to hear. You got to stick with it though. You know, it's easy to get really motivated, lose 10 pounds over the course of 2 weeks, and then maybe the results start slowing down and you just kind of give up on things. I mean, everyone's lost 10 pounds a million times. It's really being consistent, long-term, making lasting changes. Oh, I forgot. Go Blue. Yeah, big game this weekend. It's the first real test, and I feel like we're not going to pass it. They looked pretty bad last weekend. Any advice for getting the macros? Haven't been able to either get the fats or the protein without going over carbs, or sometimes low calorie. Frustrating. I think over time, it becomes easier and easier once you start just consistently eating a keto diet. Every day, you're getting a little bit better. So I haven't been able to get fats or proteins without going over carbs. So if you go to our website, ketoconnect.net, there's a macro calculator right here. I'm sure you've done something like this before. You put in your macros, so I can do mine really quick. And a lot of people have questions on this. So say 190, maybe 15% body fat, activity level, a little bit of activity. Lightly active. I'll just try maintaining weight. So I know for me personally, this is a little low, so it would probably be more like that is my daily calories. And then it gives you your protein, your carbs, and your fats. So as you can see for me, this is using 0.8 grams per pound of lean body mass, which is the default. And I'd say this maybe is better for people trying to lose weight, more overweight people. If you're underweight or you're trying to maintain weight, build muscle, maybe we change this value. Maybe we put 1 there. and it increases our protein, decreases our fat. And this is, I probably do even a little bit more than this, something more like that. So then this is the macros you're kind of trying to hit each day. But really, the protein is the one that you're trying to, I guess, hit. And even if you don't hit it every day, it's not a huge deal, but more days than not. And your carbs is just more of a limit that you want to stay under. And you don't necessarily have to hit your fat every day, especially if you're trying to lose weight. It could be useful just to have like a nice repertoire of like low carb snacks and like after dinner type of things you can add to your diet if you just need protein and fats. Because there are a lot of like basically zero carb foods, you know. Wait, when I'm showing my desktop, is it also, oh, it doesn't show my camera. There we go. Hello. Okay. What else do we got here? Will there be a live stream to debrief on the Succession premiere? There should be. Well, my favorite show running right now, guys, Succession on HBO. When's it coming back? When does it return? Really great show. I think it comes back pretty soon. Succession season premiere date. October 17th. Hopefully it stays strong. Greg's diet is calories in, calories out. Yeah, okay. He does high volume, low calorie foods. So, yeah, I'm pretty opposed to that in general, I would say, because it's the exact opposite of human nature and like the way humans naturally eat, which is humans seek out calorie dense foods. So it's more of like you're playing tricks on your body, which is the way that we think these days. We don't really listen to our body. We listen to science, and we eat science foods that are engineered to have low calories and be very filling, like high volume, low calorie foods. So I would say I strongly disagree with that philosophy. I think you want to just be eating high calorie foods. It has to be natural foods, of course. Like if you're just eating cheesecake all day, you're going to gain a lot of weight. It's a high calorie food. But if you eat like red meat, like cheese, you know, just like natural calorie dense foods, your appetite corrects over time and it's pretty easy to maintain weight. And it's not like a daily fight against your intuition where the calories in, calories out, if it fits your macros, high volume, low calorie food type of diet, it's like a daily battle. In my experience, at least. High protein, low calorie foods. He doesn't worry about ingredients. I guess it also depends like what is his goal. It seems like he's purely focused on aesthetics, right? Because he's a bodybuilder. So like bodybuilders aren't necessarily trying to be healthy or the healthiest. So if you're optimizing for aesthetics, then ingredients don't matter at all, right? If you're maybe trying to do a little bit of a balance where aesthetics matter to you, but also health matters, then of course ingredients come into play a little bit. But I think most people following our channel and like doing a keto diet, they care at least to some degree about health. Keto Savage is one of my fave channels on YouTube. Yeah, Robert. Yeah, we met him a few times. He came to our house, I think twice, and we went to his house once. We did like a 90-day program with him, actually. Good guy. Stop keto for 3 months after doing it for 3 years. Any tips? Well, are you looking for tips to continue, or I guess I don't know what the tips would be geared towards. Let me know. Follow up on that. Why do you need a separate office? Because we're going to build some new websites and like do some different things. So we're working on a website now that maybe will be ready in a couple months with baby recipes, like healthy baby recipes, natural baby recipes. Because there's not a ton out there that goes counter to like the mainstream, like eat oatmeal as the first food type of advice. So trying to make a website similar to Keto Connect, because when you go to Keto Connect, you know everything on the site is keto friendly. So if you go to the baby food site, it would be just more peace of mind knowing that all of these recipes adhere to like a certain nutrition philosophy. So that's kind of the goal with that one. But yeah, that's why we have the studio, because we have a few employees. We have like a photographer and a recipe person. I start keto back tomorrow. Better live it up tonight then, right? That's what everyone does. Yeah, he is not natural, but used to be when he was younger. He also acknowledges how important your genetics are. Yeah, I think with bodybuilding, they're extremely important, right? Because you have to be top tier genetics to really even have a chance in bodybuilding. I don't know. I've never done it, but that's what like a lot of bodybuilders say. I love LC bread, bagels, and I always have cheese with it. Is that bad? No, I don't think it's bad. I mean, everything's kind of on a spectrum. Is it bad compared to eating Wonder Bread? No, it's great. Is it bad compared to eating, you know, like meat and vegetables? Probably. But it seems like a reasonable, healthy alternative. We have it occasionally. Keto isn't a fad. It isn't a diet. It's an intelligent way of eating. And 100 times as intelligent to eat keto than the US or UK recommended diet. Yeah, I was going over the UK recommended diet actually on our podcast, the most recent episode. I was discussing that a little bit. They're in the Stone Age still. Literally in the Stone Age. Like they froze in 1940 and they haven't changed at all. It's crazy. Yeah, of course. What is your opinion about Dr. Ken Berry and his advice? I don't have super strong opinions about these people. I just kind of categorize them in my mind as like generally good or generally bad. So like Dr. Ken Berry is a generally good advice giver, but I don't know like that I agree with every single thing he said. But we interviewed him not too long ago, probably like 3 or 4 months ago. I mean, yeah, I'd say I probably agree with 90% of what he says. How much does your office contribute to your productivity? Has it been a huge help? Definitely contributes. It's tough to, I say this all the time, but I don't think they say this as much anymore, but like maybe 5 years ago, there was this like statistic that everyone kept repeating where it was like, people actually get more work done from home. And it's just like the furthest thing from reality ever. I don't know how they came up with that statistic, but yeah, I get a lot more done in the office. And it's also like I'm here when I could be home with my family, so I should be working pretty hard or else it doesn't make sense to be here. Do you guys ever eat any real carbs like brown rice, oatmeal, rice cakes, etc.? Not too often. I guess like a while ago, Mega made sourdough bread when it was like a big craze. So I had that a few times. Sometimes we'll have, if we go out to brunch or something, like sweet potatoes, but not too often, no. And then the one thing I've been doing lately, which I stopped doing, is the pre-workout carbs, like 15 grams of pre-workout carbs. I stopped doing that. It wasn't really doing much, but I was just testing it for a couple months. Love you and Mega and the boys. Always great info. Keto is the only diet I've ever been able to stay on. Yeah, it definitely seems to, although it seems like there are some studies that contradict this, but it seems like most people can adhere to a keto diet a lot easier and a lot more long-term than most other diets. Keto versus high protein, low carb is still a bit confusing to me. Does high protein, low carb still lead to weight loss? I always find myself eating more protein over fat. Yeah, I think your body kind of craves protein a little bit more, and it's more accessible in our food system these days. Like, because you go to the grocery store and, you know, there's chicken breasts and there's protein bars. There's not a lot of just like fat sources. And it's been in a lot of ways, like taken out of the food system, especially packaged foods, processed foods. They're all high carb, low fat. So like you're going to probably feel better. And this varies person to person. I would say with a not as high protein diet, like a little bit higher fat, moderate protein, which is more of a standard keto diet. Maybe you get better weight loss if you do more protein, just because the more protein you do, usually the less calories you eat, because protein's more satiating than fat. Obviously higher protein is going to cost a lot more. And those are sort of the factors. I would say it's tough to say. Fat generally, like if you get good quality fat sources, you're getting a lot more nutrients in your diet versus a higher protein diet too. So there's differing opinions on this. I would say I am more on the side of eating a little bit higher fat, but it's definitely worth trying and seeing what you like. Any foods that can reverse hair loss? I'm not too sure. I mean, as you can see, I'm losing a little bit of hair. It's been, I think genetically, I'm just going to be bald at some point. But I don't know of like any food specifically. I think just a natural diet is going to give you your best shot though. I fell off as I don't have the support. My husband thinks keto isn't good. Yeah, that's not great. I think right away you have to take accountability. So it doesn't matter what your husband thinks. It's your decision. You got to take kind of full responsibility of that. But obviously you got to chat with your husband. Like it would definitely help if he's on board, right? Is he not on it? Does he think it's not good because he doesn't want to like make healthier changes? Is it kind of that type of a thing? Or I guess try to get to the root cause of things. I'm 83 pounds down since the beginning of the panty. I've never heard that term before. Thanks for all the great info. Thanks for the call out. I really appreciate it. I think sharing our stories is important. You never know who you can help motivate. Yeah, I agree. Opinion about Dr. Ken Berry and his carnivore advice. I don't know specifically what his carnivore advice is. He came on the podcast a couple months ago, though, and I seem to be in line with most everything he said. So I would say in general, I'm on board. I think, I don't know. It's kind of hard to, like, you probably don't need to do a carnivore diet. 99% of people probably don't need to. And intuitively, maybe not even intuitively, but like in modern times, the way we operate these days is like we're attracted to extremes. So we want to lose a lot of weight in a short period of time. The more foods we can restrict and cut out, the more attractive that style of diet seems to us. So just for that reason, I would just try to be more measured in everything I do. I'm a pretty extreme person myself, and I think most people that have done like a bunch of different diets, they tend to just get more and more extreme, and they think the more extreme, the better results. And usually that is the case in the short term. But you got to think about the long term. If you like eating that way, I think it's fine. But I also don't think you need to be too dogmatic about it. And it's probably fine to have different vegetables, berries, things like that. I mean, berries, have been around for thousands of years, probably hundreds of thousands of years, pretty much unchanged. So there's certain foods like that. Asparagus, pretty much unchanged for thousands of years. Foods like that I'd be more inclined to include in my diet. It's more the foods that have just been like really dramatically modified over the past few hundred years that I'm more hesitant about. "10 pounds can just be water weight." Yeah, it could be a good portion of water weight when you're first starting. Was at the doctor yesterday. She said I was going to have a heart attack on keto. Well, is she a cardiologist or is she your like primary care physician who doesn't know anything about nutrition? If I took the pediatrician's advice on diet, I would be feeding my 4-month-old baby rice cereal. So you got to make your own decisions. Obviously, like weighing your healthcare professional's advice is good, but I mean, if you spend like a week or two researching nutrition, you probably know more than the doctor. Let's see. So 20 and under carbs is what's good for low carb. If you're trying to do a keto diet and be in ketosis, 20 or under carbs is what's kind of required. Have you ever tried being a vegan for a short period of time? Yes, I was a vegan. I was vegetarian for 2 years. I was a vegan for maybe like 3 months. This was about 10 years ago. and I wouldn't recommend it. I do keto during the week and what I want on weekends. More fun and still works. Yeah, I mean, if it's working, hey. How should we adjust the keto calculator results to account for our age and low metabolism? Yeah, that's sort of the thing, is the only inputs you're giving it is your weight and your body fat percentage. The best way, honestly, so like I think of the macro calculator as something to use when you're first getting into nutrition and like just understanding how much you should eat on a daily basis. But like over the course, probably after like 6 months of just kind of tracking and stuff, you will know better than the macro calculator. So like, you know, I've been somewhat health conscious for maybe like 10 years now. So I know I have a very pretty close estimate of how much I burn on a daily basis, where I know better than the macro calculator. I think that's the best way. So like if you can eat consistently at a certain calorie level for 2 weeks, a month, and you see what happens with your weight, that's a data point, and then you can adjust from there. And when you do that over and over, you get a pretty good idea of how to adjust for your lower metabolism and age. So like as you age, obviously your metabolism decreases. If you have a history of yo-yo dieting, your metabolism could be a lot lower. Those are the two major factors. Let's see. Initially found you guys because of my keto journey, and not only have you helped with me with that, but life in general. Love you guys. I appreciate it. Can you give me your opinion on Ken Berry? A lot of people asking about Ken Berry. I kind of already gave it. Generally positive. I lost 40 pounds on keto this year. Here's hoping for another 40. Yeah. Great job so far. My kid's first food was a green bean. She took off my plate and put it in her mouth. That's interesting. Because, yeah, you definitely want the kids to be interested in the food before they start eating it. But we have this funny, Mega made a scrapbook of all of Theo's first foods and his reactions to them. I think his first and favorite was like just a piece of steak that he sucked on. Whoa, $50 donation? Okay, I think I just skipped a bunch here. Ape Mama. Hubs and I each lost 100 pounds with y'all's education, recipes, and overall help since September 2017. That's almost 4 years. Still going strong and feeling a new lease on life. Wow. That's great to hear. Yeah, it's really tough because like I remember when we first started Keto Connect, I would read every single email, and like it'd mean a lot to me when you guys would write in and say how much we've helped. And I barely even check the emails and stuff anymore. So it's nice to kind of get reminded that you're making at least a little bit of a difference. Let me see here. It's funny, the standard American diet is told to be one of the most healthy diet to follow. If it was such a great diet, we would all be healthy and we wouldn't be overweight and obese. I don't think people use standard American diet as bad. It doesn't really have a positive connotation at all. I don't think anyone thinks healthy when they hear standard American diet. But yeah, of course, we should not be calling it healthy when we're all overweight. I was actually looking at the obesity rates by country. And America, I think, is like 10th or something. It's interesting because, so US is 12th at 36%. It's interesting because a lot of, there's actually a documentary on this. I can't remember. It might be, what was it? There's a documentary that kind of covers this, but a lot of these like areas where it's a lot of indigenous people that have very recently been eating their natural diet that then get introduced to modern foods. Like basically every state above, or every country above the US, except for I guess like Kuwait, falls into that category, where like just recently their diet has dramatically changed, and you can see the obesity rate just goes nuts. What else you guys got? I lost 70 pounds since January. My wife is down 30. 3-digit club combined. Matt, what are your thoughts on thoughts? I've actually been thinking a lot about thoughts lately. I usually think of it in the framework. We talked about this on a recent podcast. The inputs have obviously a direct effect on the outputs. So when you listen to something like Kanye West's new album, for example, some people, for some reason, didn't like it. To me, when you compare it to all the rest of the music that's being made these days, pretty much a masterpiece. At least a lot of thought goes into it, and it's like a work of art. And when you have to think of like a lot of he's like reading, listening to, watching on TV, it all makes it into the final output of his album. And it's like that for everyone, except just probably on a smaller, less noticeable scale. So like if you go home every day and you're just like listening to like, politics stuff and like getting mad at the TV, probably not great to do. Like you're just going to have a lot of negative thoughts. But, I just read the book The Alchemist after a really long time of people recommending it, and repeated throughout the book is, what's the quote? If you really want something, the whole world conspires to make it true or to make it happen. I'm a pretty big believer in that. If you want something enough, it's going to happen 100%. My hubby is thrilled because I cook tasty food. He's from Denmark and has always eaten one meal a day since I've known him. He was raised with a higher fat diet than the standard American diet. Yeah, a lot of like the Norwegian, is that what it's called? Scandinavian countries, they eat pretty high fat diets. We actually went to Sweden. Diet Doctor, the biggest keto website in the world, they are in Sweden, and we tried like a bunch of their foods. They had us do this one video where we just tried all of their Swedish foods. Not tasty. Not at all. By the way, my husband's favorite thing since eating this way has been your guys' tortillas. That's a good recipe. That's an old one. We made that one probably like 5 years ago. Just wanted to thank you so much for everything y'all do. At first, as a single mom, I didn't really know how to incorporate my new keto life into feeding my 2-year-old son what he needs, but now I do. Yeah. So maybe you'll be interested in the new site we're launching pretty soon. A lot of, I think it's a great idea. I actually just had this, maybe I shouldn't tell you guys yet, but like cooking, like a little mini functional kitchen. I'll probably never pursue this, but like a little functional mini kitchen that your kids can cook with. Not fake, but like just safer kitchen gadgets and stuff for them. I got my license from Dr. Google. Yeah, I got mine from Dr. Google and a few bucks. When we get to our goal weight, can we have sweet potatoes? You can have whatever you want. It's your life. I would just question, does it facilitate your goals? What are your goals? Sweet potatoes are definitely one of the healthier additions to your diet if you want to include some carbs. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to try and then adjust over time. Hi, Matt. Glad to see you on a live chat. So my nutritionist telling me 60 grams of carbs are enough is a lie. If she's telling you 60 grams of carbs to be in ketosis is low enough, I would say that's probably a lie, especially if you're just starting. I think if you've done keto for a couple of years, maybe then you could probably do 60 carbs and still be in ketosis. But is she saying a keto diet or is she just saying low carb? So like I would say 60 grams of carbs is definitely a low carb diet. I agree with you about the extremes. I used to do 10 total carbs, then carnivore for a while. Now I don't get super concerned with ratios or specific numbers of carbs. More follow general keto principles. Feels great. Yeah, I think that's a good approach. Not everyone can really adopt that right away, but I think over time it becomes more doable. Absolutely agree, Matt. Take responsibility for your health. 2+ years, minus 180 pounds, no heart attack, keto for life. Is Egg Life wraps okay on keto? Yes, they are. You should probably just learn how to figure out if a food is or is not keto friendly, though. So, like, obviously the carb number on the back is a pretty good telltale sign. Murder She Ate doubleheader, Gabby Patricio and Alex Murdaugh family. I don't think we're going to be able to do Murder She Ate's anytime soon, unfortunately. Although people have been telling me about, like, there's like a few high profile cases going on right now, right? I haven't really followed much. I just had a egg white wrapped chicken sandwich. Did you make that from home? Did you see the new study suggesting that metabolism stays the same between age 20 and 60 as long as muscle is equated? No, I didn't see that, but I've seen a lot of contradictory studies. So what that I would say that's probably true, assuming a normal diet for those 40 years. But there's like very concrete evidence. It's the Biggest Loser study, which shows that metabolism changes dramatically if you do a extreme calorie restricted diet for any period of time. I'm trying to find it here. I talk about this like all the time. Is this it? Body weight change, fat mass change, no. But yeah, basically the Biggest Loser contestants, let's say they started and their metabolism was 2,000 calories per day. They lost weight and got down, say that maybe they lost 40% of their body weight and their metabolism obviously decreased, which is normal. But then they regained all the weight and their metabolism was like 20% lower than it was when they started, and they're at the same weight. I guess I'm not 100% sure if it breaks down the lean mass in that example. So maybe you're right when you say muscle is equated. Today's International Podcast Day. Don't you worry about how much processed food you eat? Do I worry about it? I mean, I don't think I eat too much processed food, so I don't worry about it. But like if I was eating a lot of processed food, I probably would worry about it. But also, like, the processed food I do eat is healthier than what is just like generally processed food. Like, it's not Twinkies, right? Everything's kind of on a spectrum and there's nuance to it. So would I be worried if I ate Twinkies every day? Yeah. But like, it's not really fair to be like, what's like a good example of a kind of healthy processed food? If you get like pork rinds, those aren't even processed, I guess. Pork rinds, like a meat stick that's processed, you would call that processed. It's not really in the same category of foods as Twinkies is to me. Ken Berry is legit. Any thoughts on some people recommending taking a shot of olive oil every morning to assist with blood sugar and joints? Would it help with joints? I don't know what about that would help with joints. I guess like olive oil is mostly known for being like high vitamin E, I think. Olive oil, which I guess is like an antioxidant. I mean, I wouldn't do it really because it doesn't make sense. Like, when would humans have ever taken a shot of olive oil? So like, I just don't do things that don't make sense. That's kind of my number one test. Could it help with blood sugar? Maybe. Could it help with joints? I don't really see why it would. I love Dr. Berry and his wife, Nisha. I incorporate a mixture of his ketovore with regular keto depending on the day and what's going on, and I feel great. Your breaded air fryer pork chop is good, I think. My 1-year-old is keto. How's that going? What about losing hair a couple of months after keto? Yeah, that shouldn't really be happening. I think the major culprits could be like just doing too low of calorie, like not eating enough food or maybe not eating enough protein. Any tips on feeling better after splurging on entirely too much sugar for my B-day? Not really. Just slowly get back on track. That's really the best tip I can give you. I love Theo's kitchen crib. It allows him to be safely involved. Mom of 3. Are you in agreement with protein sparing modified fast? No. Again, it doesn't pass the common sense test, does it? Protein sparing, I guess let me look at exactly what it is. Is a type of very low calorie, less than 800 calorie per day with a proportion of protein calories and simultaneous restriction of carbohydrate and fat. It includes a protein component, fluids, and vitamin and mineral supplementation. I guess I'd need to know really exactly what your protocol is for it. But in general, I would say I don't agree with it. Yeah. A couple more here. Yeah, a couple more. Have you seen Highfalutin Low Carb or Jeff the Diet Chef on YouTube? Yeah, we interviewed Highfalutin Low Carb. Forget what his name is. He was on our podcast maybe a year ago. But no, Jeff the Diet Chef, I don't think I know him. Is apple really unhealthy though? Depends kind of what you compare it to. I mean, if you compare it to the standard American diet, which is kind of like the barometer that most people measure against, I would say no, an apple's pretty healthy. It has decent nutrients in it. But on the spectrum of like a natural food diet, yeah, apple's pretty not great, I would say. Because an apple's like maybe 26 grams of sugar, pretty low nutrient in general. Like what's the micronutrients in apple? So like if I was going to include fruit or like higher carb things in my diet, probably have like berries would be near the top of the list. What else? Maybe like root vegetables, things like that. Maybe bananas. Bananas would definitely be above apples on my list. But yeah, I wouldn't call them unhealthy. Like if you see your friend at work in the lunchroom like eating an apple, I wouldn't say like he's probably a pretty health conscious person and he's trying to do good. Vitamin D and adding more eggs helped my keto hair loss recuperation. The green bean that my baby ate was when she was 2 months. Can they even like, what was it, an intentional grab then, or was it like an accidental grab? Because I don't think 2-month-olds like actively grab things, do they? Did Mega higher her carbs when pregnant and breastfeeding? Not really like on a per day basis, but she would just be less strict with her diet and she would have more like treats and stuff. So in total, yeah, but not like on a per day basis. I'm still waiting for you to do 3 days of fish head soup. Oh yeah, that's the survival diet challenge. Could be fun. Does fasting while doing keto help ketosis? Thanks. Yeah, just the lack of calories is going to help you stay in ketosis a little bit better. Because some people even do intermittent fasting and they get to like a mild level of ketosis even if they're not really doing that low of a carb diet. Oh, his name is West. That was his name, yeah. Vitamin D is really important. It is especially important for those who are insulin resistant. Yeah, and the best way to get it is from the sun probably, though, not necessarily from supplements. I try to make an effort to get in the sun every day, but I don't always do it. So I make up for it on the weekends. I'll usually like lay in my driveway for like 15 minutes. My kids were really early learners. They were grabbing at 2 months. You got to get them to take a Mensa exam then. She actively grabbed and put it in her mouth. I dropped my plate to try to get it out of her mouth, and she had already gummed and swallowed it. Oh my gosh. She must not have digested it well though, right? I don't think they're that capable of digesting stuff at that age. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it. KetoConnect.net, that's the website. Let me know what kind of videos you guys are looking for if you have any questions. We've mainly been doing some like restaurant guides and stuff. What kind of holiday recipes do you want to see? Working on some holiday recipes right now. We are working on, what do we got here? Let me see. Sugar cookies. Gingerbread cookies, peanut butter balls, stuff like that. All right, guys, that's going to do it. We'll try doing these more often, and definitely comment below once this gets posted after we're done with the live who you'd like to see on the podcast.